Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors into the apostles, double honors into the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than never. The would-be judges, the 144,000. All right, 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel, the tabernacle of David. They shall set up to rule here on earth in the kingdom of heaven when it comes down from heaven, as described in the Bible in Revelation, the new heaven coming down, the new Jerusalem. All right, it's a bloodline, and Christianism tries to do replacement and take that away and make it for everyone. Everyone's going to the kingdom of heaven, but only one people are going to rule it and enforce the laws of heaven upon men, right, under the authority of who the world, fraudulently and falsely called Jesus Christ, right, under Yahushua, his real name, right, with King David at the head of that. And that's the gospel in the Bible, on earth as it is in heaven. That's what that means in the Lord's Prayer. When the Lord's will is done on earth as it is in heaven. So why, if everyone's going to heaven, why would this will need to be done here on earth? You see, you people, and to the rest of the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners, among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a black only thing, all right? The Israelites are going to come like all people, but they are scattered among them all. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say shalom. This is your brother Malcolm, coming at you another brutal lesson in truth. And the world is starting to see the small hats for what they really are. Okay, it's very well known that, everyone knows that they're not the people of the Lord at this point. A lot of people just aren't willing to speak about it because they still have so much power here in America with all their lobbyists, and they have control over your Congress and et cetera, et cetera. But you got people, mainly other Edomites, who are very angry with them and fighting against them to expose that. And I don't know how much good it's going to do, because Amalek's going to do what Amalek does until they are destroyed. And the one good thing is that time is near. All right, until the Lord removes them from power. All your voting and whatever, you can't remove them from power. And what it does promise you is that is that the Bible talks about the Civil War. All right, and that's what's coming. Because shameful spewing is upon their glory, and they hate it when history and truth comes out. Okay, they really do. So I'm going to read Numbers the book of Numbers 24 and 20, and it reads, "And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever." So I'm going to look that up in the Strongs. Let's see. Let's go to the Strongs and go to Numbers. I'm going to play these short videos. All right. I have 4 of them lined up, so I'm going to play all 4 videos. But all on the same subject matter. The condemning of the wickedness being done by the Amalekites in the land of Israel, and how much power they have here in America, and they're not supposed to, according to, the Constitution America's being ruled by a foreign entity. And there are lots of people calling for it, but they're all up in Congress, every part of your government, every part of your law enforcement, every part of your any major government organization, they're there, and there it is. But it says, let's look up that word for first. He was the first of the nations, and it's H in the Hebrew, H7225. So I'm going to click on it, and it says, Rashayath. All right, and they're saying Rashith, but there's no E sound in Hebrew. So it's Ra, Shah, Yath, okay? From the same as H7287218. First order or rank, first fruit, beginning chief, principal thing beginning. They are the principal people here in America because Americans don't matter. Israeli citizens matter to American government. And now, you know, if you speak against them or don't support them, they will withhold funding to your country. Please make that make sense. All right. How is it that a whole foreign country, if you don't support a full foreign country, as if America doesn't have other allies? Why? Because these people control America. Hands down. Let me click on this 87218. Oh, well, it's the same, so I guess I don't need to click on it. It won't open. But yeah, they're the first people because nobody is before them in this society. All right, that we're currently living in. So let's see what Anna has to say.
No, I'm not gonna let you filibuster. I'm not gonna let you filibuster.
She called him a B. I'm not gonna let you filibuster. Beep, B, bitch is what she said. This might be a nigga woman.
No, I'm not gonna let you filibuster. I'm not gonna let you filibuster. I'm not gonna let you filibuster. You guys are totally okay with IDF soldiers shooting and killing desperate people waiting for humanitarian aid. You're okay with that. I find it...
Which is pretty cruel because that's actually happening. All right? It's too much evidence to prove that it is. Right? They may not show it on American media because they don't want, you know, people, the general public to turn on them, but people go to get food and water because they're starving to death, even little children, and they have their snipers shoot them, or they'll, you know, bomb them with tanks or whatever. That's actually happening. That's some cruel, you know, colonial, medieval shit.
So unbelievably evil. Unbelievably evil. It shocks my conscience and my soul that people as evil as this exist in this world. Okay? Watching these images, looking at these videos, seeing all these kids, desperate, hungry, parentless, trapped in Gaza. And you're sitting here and you're defending it. I can't stand it. I can't listen to it. The filibustering is unbearable. It's unbearable.
And filibustering, you know, basically gaslighting, lying. You know, I've for the last 7-8 years I've been hearing that term, and that's what it is. Because as soon as you question them, they'll start talking about their great grandparent or their grandparent that survived, you know, in Auschwitz or something. It's like, what the fuck does that have to do with what we're talking about right now? What does that have to do with anything? You know, it's like it's the same. They're taught to do that. If you ask the question, all right, and so they'll just take it to something else. You ask a very specific question about something that's actually relevant right now, and they'll, you know, try to plead to the emotions of dumbed down people. So I'm not even going to get into that event, you know. Let's say the math is not mathing, and then they put laws in place to keep that from coming out the same way they do the Epstein files. But, you know, it is what it is. But this is Habakkuk 2:16, and it reads, "Thou art filled with shame for glory, for drink thou also and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be upon thy glory." So their history and their glory now is being spewed upon.
You've on stolen land, you drink stolen water, you eat stolen fruit. I find you fascinating, Mr. Dayan. I really do. I can't understand how you have such self-assurance. A man who was born in Argentina, whose family comes from the Ukraine, and is actually wanting people, sensible people, to believe that he has some connection with my country. You and your fellow settlers, nothing other than common thieves. You've on stolen.
It's true, and now you got all these scenes, you know, these of the Ukrainians, same place that the J-ish came from, all, you know, basically saying Heil Hitler, you know, They're all, doing up that Nazi stuff, whatever the hell, their sayings are. They're throwing up Nazi symbols and they're being supported by the Israelis. Yeah, so that makes you think. It makes you throw up a big question mark. Why is that? All right, because what it comes down to is all this religion and stuff is lies. All right, this is all about Edomite supremacy. All right, that being Jacob's people and all that. They're not. They're Esau's people, and everyone knows it. Okay, and they're definitely not Japhet. I got a clip that I got to play where Dr. Brown broke that down almost perfect the same way that we do. All right, that's just a name that they came up with because of the landmaster that they were in. And he even said it is foolish to even think and he's told you the Ashkenazi Jews have nothing to do with Ashkenaz. Although he's trying to say that they're Jacob, they're Jacob's brother Esau. So the truth of the matter is despite what you think, these people really are Hebrews. They're just Hebrew Edomites. They're not the Hebrew Israelites. They're not of Jacob. They're not of the 12 tribes. Not the 12 tribes of Israel, but the 12 tribes of Edom, because Edom had 12 sons as well. All right. I'm pretty, well, don't quote me on that. I have to go back and check it. I'm thinking it's been a while since I read it, but I'm pretty sure that there was 12 of them. But nevertheless, we continue on. Let's play that again because he spoke so eloquently. Dr. Carmi did. Gada Carmi. I like Gada Carmi.
Land, you drink stolen water, you eat stolen fruit. I find you live on stolen land. You drink stolen water, you eat stolen fruit. I find you fascinating, Mr. Dayan. I really do. I can't understand how you have such self-assurance. A man who was born in Argentina, whose family comes from the Ukraine, and is actually wanting sensible people, to believe that he has some connection with my country. You and your fellow settlers, nothing other than common thieves.
Common thieves. Another word for that is colonizers. And the truth of the matter is that every place on the planet, including you, Mr. Hawk, where Edomites are, they're on stolen land. Eating stolen food, eating stolen fruit, drinking stolen water. Every place, whether it be America, Brazil, Canada, South America, every place that the Edomites are, Mount Seir. All right? Because Mount Seir is going to be made desolate. Definitely not by her. She's saying how she's gonna tear down their kingdom, but this is just to show you though that these Americans and American, politicians and people are fed up with, with the small hats, with the J-ish, all right? Because people are tired of the fraud. They really are tired of it. So I'm gonna read from the NLT. Let's open up the NLT here. Numbers 24 and I'm gonna start at 18 in this one. It says Edom will be taken over and Seir, its enemy, will be conquered. Now these are future prophecies that hasn't happened yet. All right, it says Edom will be taken over and Seir, its enemies, will be conquered, while Israel marches on in triumph, and a ruler will rise in Jacob who will destroy the survivors of it. So that hasn't happened yet. Okay? Amalek was the greatest of the nations, but its destiny is destruction. See, since Amalek is ruling now, they're the greatest, the first of the nation. What people are greater than the small hats right now when you can't even speak about them? You can't even speak about fraudulent history. You get labeled the anti-thing, your bank account's jacked. I listened to the Kanye song, and it's like they disregard the whole beginning of the song of the things that was done to him. That's what Esau does. I'm watching a movie now, which is, the history, the time is right, but the people in rulership is wrong. But nevertheless, in this movie, there's an Edomite and his soldiers came to collect taxes. It's a pretty woman comes out, the wife of some farmer or whatever who's off hunting or working or whatever. And she hands him the bag, and he shakes the bag, says it's a little light.
I'm sick of ads.
So,
I know this is an ad,
what
but
the
it's an
fuck?
ad.
That's my Bible app talking.
It blocks ads for apps,
the fuck?
websites, and video streaming platforms. You
Wow.
get this chat.
That's some bullshit. It's never fucking Esau, man. These updates, my phones have been tripping ever since these updates. But anyway, man, that's bugged out. My Bible app just started talking, man. What the fuck? But anyway, he collects the taxes from the woman. Then and she was short, so he says, he gets all in her ear, way too close to be getting to another man's wife. He says, you're going to make food for my men. You're going to make me whatever he asked for, and you're going to prepare me a bath. The next scene, they show some men out in the field working, and they show clearly her husband's not at home. He's out hunting or something. And then the next scene, you hear the men are outside eating around the fire, and then you hear a woman screaming, and the husband hears it. He's on his way home, right? The men just start chuckling, laughing to themselves, all right? And then they pan the camera into the room where they are, and a woman is laying this beautiful woman is laying on the floor with her dress ripped open, her ginormous breasts hanging out. She's dead. He's in a tub with the knife that he just killed her with. Clearly he raped and killed her, and he's in the tub just bathing. Her husband sneaks into his own house. He sees the men. He sneaks into the house and sneaks up on the man and kills him. And then all of a sudden there's this crazy manhunt by the king of this tax collector to kill this murderer. See, Esau doesn't take into accountability the wrongs that he does to other people. He only takes into accountability or talk about or focus on when the retaliation has happened. When someone retaliates against him, like October 7th, all right? Which they were aware of, and they let it happen so that they could do what they did, so they can do overkill. And that's exactly what they've done. Overkill to the max, all right? Completely to the max. Okay? So it says, once again, in verse 20 in the NLT, Numbers 24 and 20, Balaam looked over toward the people of Amalek and delivered this message. Amalek was the greatest of the nations, but its destiny is destruction. So the Edomites are going to be destroyed, man. And it's starting now. Right now they're being chanted down. Mainly they're being chanted down by the men of the Lord. And that vibration is spreading through the world. Why won't this play? Get it? How about we just do this? What the hell just happened here?
But all they did was radicalize me, and so now they be afraid. See, now they about to see this other Corey, this other side, cause let me say this. I just grew up a whole lot more over the last few weeks. Just grew up a whole different way. And so what they are about to get, there is nothing that happens in my life that happens in vain. So this happened, it's because it was meant to happen. And let me say, it's because it was meant to happen. And let me say, it's because the work that I need to do. And let me say this. I'm coming to tear your kingdom down.
And see, she's not. As soon as AIPAC uses this other ADL or whatever, and gets a hold of their banking buddies and their cops, and she's getting pulled over. Look, man, you can't fight AIPAC. You can't fight these Israeli lobbyist groups. You can't fight Esau. The only way you can fight Esau is with truth, with the words of this Bible. And as soon as they freeze her bank accounts and take her money and take her properties, and she'll shut up. All right, as soon as they Kanye West ass, shoot, you know, Oprah Winfrey. I mean, not Oprah Winfrey, but Goldie. You know, what's her Whoopi Goldberg her ass? She'll shut up. She'll shut up. And the same thing with Marjorie Taylor Greene. But what this will do, what this is going to do, is bring on the sedition, all right, that's prophesied in the Bible, because Americans are broke and tired, while Israelis are actually living very well off of American tax money. That's the biggest welfare state. So not only are so-called white people the biggest welfare DEI recipients here in America, and people thought it was so-called black people, and it's not. It was white people. That's why so many of them are hurting. But also the same thing, you know, and not only that, but the land of Israel, they have free health care, subsidized free schooling, and subsidized everything, all off American taxpayers. So there's a big, gigantic welfare state that keeps spreading itself and colonizing. They get more welfare from America. All right, but here we go. And Marjorie Greene and many others are pointing that fact out.
Israel First, like neocons and warhawks that have come out of the woodworks these past few weeks, who label anyone who doesn't back every single one of Israel's actions as labels as anti-Semitic.
I think organizations like AIPAC and Christians United for Israel should register under the law as foreign agents, because they are lobbying on behalf of Israel. Now, I work for the American people, and my job title is United States Representative. So my job is to represent my district in Georgia's 14th district, as well as United States citizens all over our country. And I'm unapologetic about it. I'm not anti-Semitic. I don't wish any Israel or any other country harm. As a matter of fact, I want world peace, and I push for that constantly. But I really think that we should start calling it bullying. It's not wrong to say no to Israel, and we need to remind everyone, Israel has nuclear weapons. And to my Christian friends out there, this is the secular government of Israel that we're talking about, and not the Israel of the Bible.
So she made this, and she's right. They are not the Israel in the Bible. Let's play that again.
What do you say to all these Israel First, like neocons and warhawks that have come out of the woodworks these past few weeks, who label anyone who doesn't back every single one of Israel's actions as labels as anti-Semitic?
I think organizations like AIPAC and Christians United for Israel should register under the law as foreign agents.
And actually, they should. They shouldn't even be allowed to operate in America. All right, there's not. Why is it that this one particular group, this one nation, all of America's allies, none of them have lobbying groups for them like these people? It's so obvious. And when you point it out, they're called the anti-Sem thing. Right, but let's let her finish, especially when she gets to the end and she says, "This is not the Israel of the Bible," and she is 100% correct and speaking truth when she says that.
Because they are lobbying on behalf of Israel. Now, I work for the American people, and my job title is United States Representative. So my job is to represent my district in Georgia's 14th district, as well as United States citizens all over our country. And I'm unapologetic about it. I'm not anti-Semitic. I don't wish any Israel or any other country harm. As a matter of fact, I want world peace, and I push for that constantly. But I really think that we should start calling it bullying. It's not wrong to say no to Israel, and we need to remind everyone, Israel has nuclear weapons. And to my Christian friends out there, this is the secular government of Israel that we're talking about, and not the Israel of the Bible.
So it's not the Israel of the Bible. Let's freeze that. Let me see if I can.
Nuclear weapons. And to my Christian friends out there, this is the secular government of Israel that we're talking about.
Not the Israel of the Bible. Hold on.
And not the Israel of.
All right, they left the Bible part out. But nevertheless, we'll leave the screen right there because I want to focus on a few things that she said. All right, and they're not the Israel of the Bible. So and someone could put up, I'm not going to read it, but someone could put on the comment board Ezekiel 36:5. It tells you that the Edomites would take the land of Israel in the last days. It also tells you that the land of the Lord will be trodden down. So you can put that on the comment as well, of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. All right. And then the third thing is that when it says Jacob thy worm, the Israel of God will be scattered around the four corners of the earth among all people and have no power, no voices. They will not be in control of anything. They will be the borrowers and not the lenders. All right? They wouldn't have lobbyists and militaries and billions and trillions of dollars. They wouldn't have a voice. They will be subject to payments and under the authority of the places where they're still captives, just like ChatGPT said. You know, that ChatGPT doctrine is matching up with Great Millstone's doctrine. All right, so I'm going to read these two last scriptures. All right, because what's going to happen, what's going to take them down will not be Miss Corey, but it's going to be Yahushai. All right, the 144,000 and King David himself. That's who's going to take Esau, Edom down. All right, and this is Isaiah 11:1. And it reads, and there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch that shall grow out of his roots. And the spirit of Yahweh shall rest upon him, and the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge and the fear of Yahweh. And he shall make him quick understanding in the fear of Yahweh, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. And this is talking about Yahushai. Okay, jumping down to verse 10. And in that day shall there be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people, and to it shall the Gentiles seek, and the rest shall be glories. And those Gentiles are the scattered Israelites among the heathen that look like the heathen. Learn about the Greek, the diaspora happened during the Greek rulership, not the Romans. Christianism. Go straight from the Babylonian, skip over the Greek Empire and go straight to the Romans. The Greek Empire is beyond important, and that history is found in the Apocrypha, which Edomite Bible Destruction Group decided to remove because it revealed who they were. All right? That's why it's done. That's why they moved, got rid of it. Okay? Because the time of the Greeks was the time of the Hellenization of the Israelites. And that you can find that in First Maccabees, like the first 3 books. All right? The complete total Hellenization, and how that's why it was no difference between the Greek and the J. All right? Because the J's that knew they were J's, and then you had the J's who took on the Greek customs and knew that they were J's, and then you had after 4 centuries of that, some of the Israelites completely forgot that they were Israelites. All right? If you don't circumcise your sons and don't teach them your ways, your language, and all they're doing is speaking Greek, what happens 3-4 generations from you? All right? And it was forbidden for them to learn and speak. It was the Hellenization of the Israelites, which was the kingdom of Judah, because the northern kingdom was already here in the Americas, throughout America and the islands. Okay, they were already here. So the Lord's going to lift up, that's that 144,000 from that I spoke about in the beginning of the video. I speak about in the beginning of every video that I do. All right, and that's spoken of in Revelation, the 7th chapter. Okay, and how's it going to happen? When all hell breaks loose from all this civil war and all the madness that's going to happen here in America, that's when the Lord's going to lift up the standard and give certain men those new bodies, those unstoppable and immortal bodies that you also can read about in 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. But this is Isaiah 59:19. So they shall fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun, when the enemy shall come in like a flood. So when the Edomite troops come in and start coming after the men of the Lord and coming after the elect, the spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. And a redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, saith Yahweh. So the Lord's going to imbue power among his elect that are here on earth. which are part of that 144,000, the men are. All right? And that's 1 Corinthians, 15, and I'm going to start at verse 50, and then we'll wrap it up, all right? And it reads, "Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God, neither does corruption inherit incorruption." So our corrupted bodies can inherit incorruption, all right? "Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep." I mean, when you die, you just go to sleep, all right? Your spirit goes to rest in the spirit world. It doesn't go to hell or heaven. Though, those are conditions. That's not hell. The hell doctrine is a man-made doctrine. That's not scriptural. Right? We've proved that with scriptures too many times. And just with the meaning of the word, what it means when you look the word up. "Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall be changed." Right? He said, in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye. You know how the Fantastic Four were changed? Because some cosmic power? Well, that's actually what the Lord's going to do. All right? "In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed." So that those who die serving the Lord are going to get raised up first. Incorruptible and perfect in immortal bodies. All right, you can't hurt them. Guns, swords, poisons, nothing will work on them to hurt them. All right? "For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and a mortal must put on immortality." We're going to become immortals. All right? Not everybody. Just those people that are from that line that we talked about a moment ago in Isaiah. Out of the root of Jesse, which is out of the root of Judah. Right, which is a root of Jacob. All right, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Not Abraham, Isaac, and Esau, or Abraham and Ishmael, or Abraham or any of his other 6 children with Keturah that are also Abraham's seed. You have to be of that seed, then you are the seed. Well, the R is talking about of Jacob. All right. "So when the corruptible shall have put on the incorruption, this mortal shall have put on immortality, then it shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory." That's when we get to enforce the laws of heaven on earth as it is in heaven. Just like the Lord prayer says. "O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory?" Call hello, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakat Hakwadash, Kwam Yasharala, Abad Babal.